We are back with today's topics. Today's topics would cover India objecting to United States and its comments on arrest of the Delhi CM. It is related to India-US relations, China-Taiwan conflict and India's attacks in it. Can India prevent it? It is part of the GS2. Third topic will be evidence-based norms for cancer management, part of your GS3 because there is a health particular section. World's fastest stock T+0 settlement in India, that is GS3 question. Women empowerment through inclusion of unpaid work. It's an overall for society, for essay writing and your own current knowledge. First topic, India is strongly objecting to the United States comment on the arrest of Delhi Chief Minister. India on Wednesday summoned a US diplomat and expressed strong objections to the remarks of a spokesperson of the US Department on the arrest of Delhi Chief Minister. What was? So the External Affairs Ministry is saying that fellow democracies should respect each other sovereignty. So the main question here is sovereignty. What is sovereignty? Sovereignty means each and every country is free to take its decisions without any kind of disturbances by any other party. So these kind of things actually can be made always, a talking point between India or any other countries. What the United States Department said that time, we encourage a fair, transparent and timely legal process for a particular post, that is Delhi Chief Minister and Kejriwal. It was said by US State Department. In return, India says that in diplomacy, states are expected to respect the sovereignty and internal affairs of other states. We take strong objections to the remarks of the US spokesperson about certain legal proceedings in India, in diplomacy, and in the United States of India relation when both the democracies are fellow democracies and the relation between them is increasing at a level of highest level, then we should not do like that. That was India's concern that was shown by Indian Ministry of External Affairs to the United States envoy who was summoned yesterday. Gloria Barbena, the US acting deputy chief of mission, was also summoned to a 40-minute meet at the South Block on Wednesday to convey the protests peacefully or officially. So what is the thing? I am telling you, these kind of things are basically number one, whenever any other country, be it a United States or United Kingdom or any other Western countries, they feel that whatever is to their liking, they would support it. Otherwise, they always try to actually make a point that if the things are not to their liking, they will try to object. But they cannot set a term to independent, sovereign, and a large economic power like India. It is another matter whether Delhi Chief Minister was arrested in a fair or transparent manner. That is for the court to decide. We are not taking any position. But we should take a position where any other country, if it tries to meddle in the internal affairs, it should be strongly objected to. And India has done a great thing for that. Because any country, you must have also seen that there are Panchshil Siddhants also. Panchshil principles also say that in no circumstances another country will meddle in the internal affairs of any other country. When India and US relations are increasing leaps and bounds, these kind of comments actually can create further trouble. You must have also seen that USA for CAA also made comments. USA for Article 370 also that time made some comments. So these kind of comments on India's internal affairs will definitely not go down well with the political party that is in power. Any political party that is in power, just like in 2012, the Devyani Khobragade incident also created a backlash from India and how it impacted India-US relations that time. So it will be better for the United States not to object in India's internal affairs. Because India's internal affairs, number two, India's judicial matters are India's own matters, and our judiciary is independent and capable enough to deal with these kind of issues. Many a times the Supreme Court has prevailed over these kind of issues anytime, anywhere. That's why India should register its protests, and even if US does not admit its mistake or dial down, then it must be even further strongly objected to. You must have also seen that Germany also, gave comments about India judiciary and internal affairs. But when India objected is, now Germany has dialed down, and now Germany is saying that we are ready to talk to India, and India's relations with us are very important. So it has dialed down. That's why US also should do the same. Now we go to the second topic, preventing a China-Taiwan conflict. You must have seen that China and Taiwan are in a constant stage of conflict, number one, because after 1949 of civil war, the Kai-shek party people fled to Taiwan, and it was Communist Party who ruled China. Taiwan is a very tiny island, while China's mainland is a vast area. But Taiwan has so much of economic power. It has a gateway to the South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean. It provides a lot of export and other technological heft to the Chinese and other global countries. That's why China has always viewed Taiwan from the prism of one China policy. It says that there is only one China, and if any other foreign government has to keep relations or diplomatic relations, it has to be with China only, not with Taiwan. It is China's official position. Although many countries, including India, maintain that yes, there is only one China policy, but they also separately maintain some sort of ties with Taiwan because of number one, its economic potential, and even the United States actually is trying to also balance relations with China in vis-a-vis Taiwan. US has a military sort of defense act that is passed in US Congress, and it tries to actually give arms etc. to Taiwan so that it can save its own sovereignty. So what and how a China-Taiwan? And one more thing, China-Taiwan conflict chances are increasing because number one, Russia-Ukraine crisis. And China's always, constant threat to Taiwan about a potential takeover of Taiwan. Even there have been skirmishes between China and Taiwanese air forces, defense forces as well in the coastal waters. So this particular dimension is now coming out where preventing a China-Taiwan conflict has become necessary for the globe. With expanding national interest, India has stronger compulsions, and India finds its interest entangled on the dispute on the far edges of Asia, including in Taiwan. So first of all, we should understand that if China-Taiwan conflict happens, what are India's harms? So Indian harms can be number one, that a bargaining economy in the form of Taiwan, which has a good economic relationship with India, actually will suffer. All those technology, especially chips and semiconductors, which the Taiwanese are supplying to Indian manufacturers, and even Taiwanese companies are also participating in the chip manufacturing of India. If Taiwan controls it, if China controls Taiwan, then it can go down. It may not happen that tomorrow the Taiwanese company will come and set up plants in India. If China actually takes over Taiwan, then it can be, or if there is a conflict between China and Taiwan, then it can be a straightaway issue where Taiwanese technological exports will only be decided by China at that time. So India has greater interest in China-Taiwan conflict remaining at a very, very lower level or at a peaceful level. New Delhi has three main reasons to do it. Number one, it has stakes in the status quo with Taiwan as a self-governing territory that does not declare independence. India and Taiwan has expanded trade. I told you, trade between India and Taiwan has grown 7 times since 2001, and even both countries are exploring a free trade agreement. The Taiwanese firm Powerchip Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation has partnered with Tata Group for India's first semiconductor fabrication plant. So India, that is why, requires a status quo in China-Taiwan relationships. Second, any Chinese aggression against Taiwan would be catastrophically costly for India. Such a scenario, in effect, can cripple global trade with Taiwan and China, which would create disruptions throughout Asia and West Asia. A recent study actually says that costs of conflict would amount to 10% of the GDP. India's economy would suffer a greater shock then the US economy and its most valuable sectors from electronics to pharmaceuticals would run dry of components and materials. There will be shortage of pharmaceuticals, there will be shortage of electronics because China then will be controlling these kind of policies of Taiwan if there is any conflict and China takes over Taiwan. A protracted or general war between China and US spreading beyond Taiwan could also spill over in multiple directions. It could tense India and China's land border. It could wipe out or take offline sizable portions of Chinese or American and other regional industry capacity, etc. Even when a conflict also itself would be calamitous because India's long-term international positions depending on which side prevails. China has relative advantages of concentrating force near Taiwan. And as you know, if there is a force buildup near the near the Taiwanese shores, then US also may get entangled into these things. And when US actually entangles into Taiwanese affairs, then it may happen that China further gets, emboldened to work on its southern neighbor or Indian maritime capacity. So in Indian Ocean, China then would be thinking about creating its own set of troubles for India. So these are the things actually with which India should approach a China-Taiwan conflict, because preventing China-Taiwan conflict is definitely a positive news for India because of these reasons. So what can India do? India can then always actually has options where international law that India always talks about, that international law should be followed. India should continue doing this. India should build narrative opposed to the aggression. India should economically de-risk. India should actively inform operations to support the Taiwanese people. Military support to the US forces in the Indian Ocean. Each option can be calibrated to variable levels of ambition and political appetite. Because in India has always been a peaceful country and has always advocated that, countries should remain peaceful over. India always talks about that if there is a peace, then the relationship between countries can further grow. So even a successful prevention of Taiwan and China conflict can bring advantages to India because Taiwan is a functioning democracy and India is also a functioning democracy, and relations between two democracies there is always a famous saying that democracies do not go for war, they always try to collaborate. In India and Taiwan's collaboration is at a much advanced level as compared to India and China. There is no historical conflict between India and Taiwan as compared to India and China. Taiwanese companies are being part of India's manufacturing and make in India progress, which Chinese companies are not. Taiwanese companies are not seen from the suspicion of any kind of spying in the Indian internal affairs, while Chinese companies are being seen like that. And you must have also seen that certain Chinese apps or other companies have been banned to do business in India after the Galwan clash of 2020. So this is how preventing China-Taiwan conflict is important or beneficial for our country. Then comes the third topic, and it is ICMR set to bring in evidence-based norms for lung cancer management. As you know, lung cancer or any kind of cancer is basically, it is a devastating news for any family when it is detected. Because number one, there are very, very less or very, very rare cure for it. So people who get it almost actually, they become a certainty that today or tomorrow or after some time, the casualty may happen. Evidence-based guidelines do not exist currently with respect to prevention, screening, diagnosis, management. So you should know that when ICMR is set to bring evidence-based norms for lung cancer management, but current position is that evidence-based guidelines do not exist with respect to prevention, screening, diagnosis, management, and palliation of the lung cancer in India. Despite the fact that lung cancer is one of the most commonest cancers in India, accounting for total of 10% cancer deaths in the country. The Indian Council of Medical Research, understanding this gap, is now all set to launch a systematic review and meta-analysis And it says that it can play a crucial role in synthesizing existing evidence to inform decision making in the management of lung cancer. Prospective applicants will be tasked to conduct systematic reviews. So what can happen? So the evidence that is derived from these kind of systematic reviews and meta-analysis will be systematically addressed and assessed for its strength in utilizing the grade responses. This grading methodology will serve to evaluate the quality of the evidence. So some evidences we can see when some things are examined, and beyond the systemic reviews and meta-analysis, the grade response will be then, the strength of the grade response will be then utilized. It will be subsequently able to inform the formulation of recommendations following the application of evidence to decision framework. So the Indian Council of Medical Research says that depending on the scope of the review, a team might be assigned more than one review question, including number one, prevention, screening, and diagnosis, etc. According to World Health Organization, lung cancer is a significant public health concern and it causes a considerable number of deaths globally. Smoking tobacco, including cigarettes, cigars, and pipes, is a primary risk factor for the lung cancer, but it can also affect non-smokers as well because of the passive smoking. Other risk factors also include exposure to second-hand smoke, occupational hazards like asbestos, radon, and certain chemicals, air pollution, hereditary cancer syndromes, and previous chronic lung disease. So if ICMR is able to bring evidence-based norms, it can be a greater thing in the fight against lung cancer, because then the evidences be used to not only set standards for prevention, but also for screening and diagnosis. The moment it is done, fight against lung cancer can become a little bit easier, because when the problems are analyzed and screened and reviewed, then some sort of therapies or graded response will be evaluated, and then that graded response can become part of the standard practice to deal with prevention, screening, diagnosis, and management of lung cancer. So this is what Indian Council of Medical Research is set to bring. Our fourth topic is covering the news that is optional T+0 settlement from today and how it will benefit. You must know that this is the world's fastest stocks settlement process, and why it is being done to offer investors in India the fastest stock trading and settlement service in the world. So this particular T+0, number one, the day of the trade only it will settle. T+1, there is a T+1 option where the business day after trading and the things are settled on that day. Global standard is T+2 where second business day the transactions are settled. So successful settlement is where buyer gets the stock and seller gets the money smoothly. You see, the stocks are sold and purchased on a daily basis. So when a successful settlement among these two stocks, seller and stocks buyer, happen the same day, then it is T+0 settlement. If it happens actually next business day, then T+1. It happens second business day, then it is T+2 process. So with T+0, money and stocks can be circulated more frequently and it will lead to higher trading volumes. So one benefit is this. If the question is asked, you can directly write this. Number two, lesser money will remain idle. Faster settlement will mean that the system will carry lower risks. India, which fully shifted to T+1 in January 2023, could move ahead of the developed markets, some of which are struggling to even move to T+1 system from T+2, and India is now talking about T+0 system. That's why it is being touted as the world's fastest stock settlement process. The same-day settlement system would also, as I told you, will lower risk for the market while releasing. What it will do is it will release funds for the investors immediately, and that funds can be utilized by investors to use for more trading and investing. Under the T+0 system, stocks which are bought and sold between 9:15 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. means 9:15 in the morning and 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon would be settled by the end of the day. Currently, the Indian market trades under T+1 settlement system, under which the buyer gets the stock in their demat account on the next working day after the trade. Similarly, the sellers get the fund in their bank accounts one working day after the day of trade. So BSE index has published, or Sensex has published, a list of 25 stocks. Those are eligible to be settled under the T+0 cycle. These stocks include Ambuja, Ashok Leyland, Bajaj Auto, Bank of Baroda, BPCL, Birla Soft, Cipla, Coforge, Divi's Labs, Hindalco, Indian Hotels, among others. Same-day settlement system was in the planning stage for more than a year. SEBI in its board meeting gave its approval yesterday. So this is the T+0 settlement options. So shortened settlement cycle will bring its own cost and time efficiencies. For the securities market ecosystem, a shorter settlement cycle will free up capital for the investors to be invested in other things. Price band for T+0 segment will operate with the price band of plus 100 basis points from the price in the regular T+1 market. It will be recalibrated to plus 50 basis points movement in the underlying T+1. And who can participate in the T+0 settlement cycle? All investors who are eligible to participate in the segment for T+0 trade settlement cycle if they are able to meet the timelines, process, and risk management as prescribed by the market infrastructure institutions. So all those market infrastructure institutions which actually, the investors are eligible to meet the timelines, process, and risk requirement, those will be eligible. Currently, there are 25 scripts which will be eligible for trading. Maybe next time it can be improved. Next topic comes about the 19 crore people paid workforce. You see, in India or anywhere in the globe, the main problem with women empowerment is the economic empowerment. And economic empowerment cannot happen till the time the women's contribution in the household work or child care work or elderly care work or any other care work is not counted monetarily. So this is a part where the monetary aspect, non-monetary aspect of caregiving economy, till the time they are not made part of the economy, it will always create a lesser incentive for women. Because when the caregiving is somewhere, monetized and put in the money term, then the importance of this work for women will increase. So 19 करोड़ घरेलू महिलाओं को पेड वर्कफोर्स में लाने की तैयारी so that GDP can increase 12%. So what is the plan? Care sector will be given priority. Companies will be given subsidy. Paid parental leave will be given. इससे बच्चों के विकास के अलावा केयर इकोनॉमी विल गेट बूस्ट. महिलाएं पेशेवर करियर पर भी ध्यान दे पाएंगी. बिकॉज ऑफ द पेड parental leave, a woman folk can go out of the home and she can also do her work for which she has taken leave because of the delivery related aspects. India's care sector is basically mostly dependent on Anganwadis and ANMs, nurse midwives. They are in the numbers of close to 42 lakh. So we need to increase it to somewhere around 50 lakhs. So this can be institutionalized when ANMs and Anganwadi workers are being actually recruited in large numbers, then this care economy can be given a more institutional form, and those women folks who are taking care of institutional deliveries or are assisting in the care work can then be rewarded monetarily. बच्चों और बुजुर्गों की देखभाल के लिए भी high quality services will be given. GDP can be improved by 1 to 4% in that aspect. As I told you, in the women or elderly care also, if that is recognized, even the GDP can rise by 1 to 4%. Care sector will require actually collaboration with the public-private setup partnership so that institutional structures can be provided, just like parental care needs, just like the crash facility, just like the elderly care institutionalized homes, etc. So care economy is needed because in across the globe there are close to 60 crore women who are doing unpaid care work. So 60 crore people, 60 crore women, if they are not giving any kind of monetary contributions in a country's growth domestic product, then it itself has its own disadvantages for the economy, but actually it does more harm to lower the reputation of women. So more money is involved, the more better will be the care for the women folks and their empowerment actually will grow. इसी वजह से रोजगार के लिए उपलब्ध ये महिलाएं नहीं हो पाती हैं। भारत में इनकी संख्या करीब 37 करोड़ है। दुनिया में अनपेड केयर वर्क अगर अपन देखें तो जीडीपी का 9% है। भारत में पेड अनपेड महिला केयर गिवर का इकोनॉमी में योगदान 15% है। इफ दे आर स्किल्ड, दे आर मेड स्किल्ड, देन इकोनॉमी कैन गेट अ ग्रेटर बूस्ट। विकसित देशों में स्किल्ड केयर गिविंग का ट्रेंड है। अकॉर्डिंग टू रिपोर्ट बाय फिकी, डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज अनपेड केयर वर्क महिलाओं की जगह स्किल्ड केयर वर्क दिखाने का ट्रेंड है। अमेरिका, जापान, फ्रांस, इटली जैसे स्पेन देशों में 80% महिलाएं जो हैं वो स्किल्ड केयर गिविंग का काम कर रही हैं। So if this skilled care can be made part of our economic policy making, then India GDP can grow by 12 to 15%. But more than the GDP, it can improve the women standing in our society, and it can contribute to the women empowerment in a most effective manner. जीडीपी का 2% केयर इकोनॉमी पे खर्च हो तो रोजगार के करीबन 1.1 करोड़ मौके पैदा होंगे। इससे 70% जॉब महिलाओं को मिलेंगी। सो दैट इज हाउ दिस टॉपिक इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर यू। We are bringing these kind of topics on a daily wise on Preparation Pulse channel because of we want that daily news analysis should go, and it should be connected with more facts, and the knowledge level of you should be enhanced. So for a general level person also it can be beneficial, but for those people who are writing competitive examination, it will only enrich their content. Thank you for watching. If you feel that we were able to impart a good understanding, then please like and share our button. For more such videos, you can like the button and subscribe the channel. Thank you.